So I'm here in a warehouse full of exotic cars, and I'm going to be talking to the owner of this establishment, Young Timers Garage, a guy called Sean, and he's going to tell us all about the world of exotic cars, buying and selling.
And these cars pretty much are the asking price because there's so many in the world, and we'll sit on it, it doesn't matter.
Why would somebody buy a McLaren instead of a Ferrari or Lamborghini?
The reality is if you can afford one of those, you can do whatever you want. Sometimes they might have a trailer that I can't work with, and a particular brand of car is deemed to be your flexing, and I get it.
So, Sean, this is a Lamborghini Countach.
Yes.
I don't know how many there are in the world, but there's not that many.
No.
You can't go to car sales and then just look at 100 Countachs and go, I'm going to price it about here. How do you come up with a price for a car like this?
Look, it's hard because there's a lot of elements to a car like this. Again, I'm very blessed to have been doing this a long time, so I've been privileged to a lot of the companies I've either run or helped build or be a part of have played with the very fringe, whether it be Daytonas or F40s or F50s or Countach, or whether it be a Periscope or an Anniversary or 400S or like this one. This was quite a rare car. This is an Anniversary. They only ran them for a short period, a couple of years. They only made 33 right-hand drive cars. There are some converted cars out there, but this is a genuine right-hand drive matching number car. It's been out in Australia for 30 odd years. Now, the market's soft. The market has been soft, and I've been blessed to be in this a long time, and I've seen fluctuations in market. How I price this car is what I call, it's got to be what I call a global car. So it's not so much, there are these cars sort of in the marketplace, but not really, not in Australia, not that much. There's a variety of different Lambos, but how I price this car is this. The market's down at the moment, so if the market was strong, this car was well over $2 million, but the market's down. So you come to me and you say, well, Sean, how will we price this car, how we would market this car? And I said, well, if you came to me and said, right, there's an equivalent, there's not many because there's only 33 right-hand drives, and out of those 33, there's only probably, Lamborghini are hard with their registries, but they reckon there's probably somewhere maybe 20 out of the 33 in possibly this condition. Now, what's this condition? This car's a nut, bolt, restoration, interior done, engine, everything. It is a colour change car, but at this level it doesn't matter. If it's period correct, it doesn't matter. That's all that matters. So it was originally red with the beige Sabia interior. When it was full nut, bolt, restored, it was restored to Nero, which was a period colour, because the client obviously Cannonball Run, as you all know, or our age you know, it was iconic. And the wheels were originally silver, but when they restored, they were painted gold, which was a North American option, and it was taken up in Europe. Anyway, so otherwise all cool. And yes, of course, for those that might ask, yes, the lenses were clear. They were tinted when they do that. Oh, why would he do that? Well, the reality is if you can afford one of those, you can do whatever you want. The thing is that it's still period correct. But this car, I look at it and go, there's two in the world at the moment which are overseas. 850 to 895. They're not black. One's yellow, one's white. Both lovely colours, period correct. They look like they're pretty good calibre cars. They're both at very reputable places. Mathematically, you couldn't land that car with Australia.
When you say 895, 900, is that US dollars or pounds or
pounds?
Pounds. Okay.
Sorry, pounds. Yeah.
Right.
So like for like, because I price it globally, because it's a global car. Like we were talking to some people overseas on this car. It's just been photographed in the Wheels magazine, so that's pretty special. But I'm going to go to that. So when we sit down and look at the mats accordingly. So if you've got someone like me in your pocket and you come into me and this car didn't exist, we go buy the car from Europe using all the experience and all the contacts and everything that I have, just that we built from over the years, a Duttons, a Ferrari, whatever the case may be. I can't land that car with the exchange rate currently for well under, I can't land that car for under 1.9 to $2 million on a good day with everything lining up. And in this sort of world, it doesn't necessarily work that way. Cars overseas, you've got to do all these things. You've got to fly there, all that. So if I price that car at, say, 1.8, 1.7, 1.8, which is where we have, mathematically, you may as well buy the car that's here. Because it's been here 30 years and it's restored. So that's how I price it. My 330 GT, exactly the same way.
Okay, so it seems like...
If the market was stronger though, I would put it higher because the market's better.
If I understood correctly, you sort of looked at the 2 or 3 others on the market and went, well, if I bought them at the asking price and got them to Australia, that's what I'm going to price this one at.
And these cars pretty much are the asking price because there's so many in the world, and we will sit on it, it doesn't matter. You will find the buyer.
That's going to be another question, but if there wasn't another one on the market, then how would you price it, or would you just look at the last one that sold?
Well, again, I've been doing this a long time. There's a few barometers out there that I'm either registered with or I have experience with or I have access to, which can give me a barometer over the last 15 years.
Yeah.
So I know, and this is where I personally, when I'm advising clients on certain cars to buy, I'm blessed to have clients 20 years. So I want to make sure that we buy the right cars. And plus also everyone knows me, I'm not a greedy person. So I will advise them. Now, would I advise my client to buy now, people say, oh, because you've got one. No, fuck it, if you want the other one, I can get you one as well. But in saying that, if I'm going to buy a Countach, what will I buy? Well, if you open checkbook, you go for a Periscope. First of them. Matching numbers, right-hand drive, blue chip car. Then you go for a QV because limited numbers. There's more anniversaries on the market than there were anything else. 400S is pretty good. So there's certain models you buy, and no different to a Daytona, Ferrari, plexiglasses away, 1 of 35, all those things.
So let's talk about what to me looks like a Ferrari 430, but it looks a bit more special than the average 430. Why is that? And then how do you price such a car?
Well, of all the cars here, that's actually one of the most perfect questions because this is a pretty special car. Now, the purists will go cringy and they'll love what's behind us here, but again, I've been blessed to even run Ferrari, the factory dealership for Mr. Crichton back in Sydney many years ago. I was actually in charge at Ferrari when we did the transition to 430 to 458. So 430 I've always loved. But in saying that, this car was a pretty special car. It was delivered new via Hong Kong, so factory right-hand drive, to New Zealand to a very wealthy Singaporean of all people that was living there. He then had a friend that had a Novatec kit done to his car in Europe, so it was left-hand drive. Anyways, unbelievable. Found out about it. This car went over to Europe, had the full Novatec kit. It was like €130,000 back then on top of the car. And a part of the full Novatec exterior is they paint the car black, matte black. This car was delivered red. I've got the document. So it's painted matte black. He didn't do the full interior, which in a way I'm grateful. It's got the Daytona seats, but it's more than double the factory horsepower. It's twin supercharged. It's one of only 5 right-hand drive cars in the world. It is the only one in Australia. I've just put it to market. It's very, very special. It's pretty scary, actually. It's full Novatec, every single aspect of it. Now, how do I price that car? Because it's so unique. It's actually one of the rarest cars in this showroom I've ever dealt with, and anyone would really see. Novatec are coming back in a really massive way over the last sort of 3 to 4 years, especially with the late model V12 stuff, and they're really back out there. So, like I said, it took a lot of work to get this car into the country, but it's here. Now, how will I price it? Well, again, I'm very privileged to be running Ferrari at the time when the 16M and the 430 Scuderia came out back in 08, 09. Then those are the 599 GTO. So it was really my great era for Ferrari. This is faster than a Scuderia, rarer than a Scuderia. You know, depending on how you look at it, can be said to be better than a Scuderia. But it's less than a Scuderia. As in value-wise.
Less value, okay.
So I've priced this at 550 or abouts. Now,
okay, so what would a normal for 430?
Well, a good 430, a good
age?
year of this age, with this has only done 20-something thousand Ks, full books and so on. I carry a lot of 430s. A good one, a good Aussie car, 300, 350.
Okay, so it's a fair premium.
So you're paying 150 to 200 more, but you're getting something very special and unique. Now, it's not for the purists. I know that, because every Ferrari I have, my 328, my Testarossa, my 355, my 330, everything is as a purist, but this is what YTG represents. It's very unique. It is the best. It is unique. It's the only one in Australia. It's a car that's going to increase in value as Novatech get bigger and bigger and all these things are happening with them. I've priced that car exceptionally well because you can't repeat it. You can't do it again. And on a mathematical scale of what's around and the desirability, that's a very fair price. I mean, that car will sell. We've got people on the car. But again, like anything, my biggest problem that I have here is not so much the business inquiry, it's more sometimes they might have a trade-in that I can't work with and it's sometimes difficult, so I'd rather try and do a clean deal, what I call, where sometimes you'll see sometimes in my ads I've got there no trades.
Sure, if most people think of exotic supercars, it's Ferrari, Lamborghini, and then maybe they've heard of McLaren. Why would somebody buy a McLaren instead of a Ferrari or Lamborghini?
Look, I guess with the more modern, which, I mean, I don't carry a lot of modern supercars per se. I mean, you know, again, as you sort of see around here, I mean, there's sort of more, if they are modern supercars, they're usually a specific type of car. It's a limited series or whatever the case may be, but they are very different buyers. I mean, Lamborghini buyers are very different to Ferrari buyers.
How so?
Look, I mean, they're to be politically, not that I'm a political person, people know me, I don't give a fuck, I say it the way it is, but in saying that, they are very different, and I don't carry a lot, because I find that the new Lambo buyers are a bit more wazzy, flashy, sort of, and I get it, and I totally get it, because they, you know, good on them, they're working hard, it's very, Lambo really is in your face. Ferrari is, but it's in a different way. McLaren is more of a, I've found McLaren is much more of a sophisticated buyer. He wants something a bit different, and he wants still that theatre that comes with those two other brands, but it's like the M3 buyer, or the early M3 buyer. They used to say he was more of an engineer or that sort of thing. It was a different type of buyer, McLaren, and I have noticed that with a lot of the buyers, but. Yeah, they very rarely cross over. Ferrari very rarely go to Lambo and vice versa. They usually stick with their camps.
I've heard that about half of McLaren buyers are women.
That, look, to be honest, possibly. I mean, I to be honest, I haven't done a lot of business with, I mean, I've done a lot of business with a lot of executive women, but they don't buy a lot of McLaren. They bought a lot of Mercedes, Porsche, yeah, look, I could see that, because out of all the supercars, I've always said it, well, I mean, look, I mean, I haven't driven a lot of late model Ferraris. They don't really do it for me. The 296 I had here, and that was a real disappointment to me. It really was. I don't carry Huracans. I've driven them. I've driven everything late-ish model-ish, except for the hybrid stuff. I don't like that. But I can see that McLaren's a very easy supercar to live with. They are. They're very, very, I wouldn't say user-friendly, because they're still, you know, seeing-wise, but in terms of sitting in traffic and not being too painful, I mean, look, the others have really come a long way, but yeah, I can see that.
I have heard that the Lamborghini owner is perhaps more likely to have a source of illegally acquired wealth.
A fucking drug deal. But no elephants in my room, mate. They're drug dealers. But look, there's an element with anyone, with any brand. I've seen it all. The shit that I've seen is unbelievable. Look, I think what it is there's a certain element of people in society that, hey, look, they don't come from wealth. So they worked hard. That particular brand of car is deemed to be your flexing. And I get it. We were having this conversation the other day with a funny client. And there's a guy that lives in his apartment block, and he's got a Lamborghini Huracan. And my friend is very under the radar, and he's got this little four-wheel drive that he runs around in, and he's going, this guy is making all this fucking noise, Shawnee, revving his bloody Lambo downstairs and thinks he's a hero. I'm laughing. I go, if only he knew what you had. And he goes, one day, he goes, let's just fucking do something. So anyways, I sent his car back on a truck to his place, and it's one of 3 in the country and one of 23 in the world, and his number plate's worth His number plate alone's worth comfortable 7 figures. So the car, you can imagine, is worth 4.5, 5 million with the plate. And all I did was send it back, parked it in his garage, and all of a sudden now the gentleman with the Huracan's been very, very quiet. So it was like a bit of flex. You want to flex this, flex. So in saying that, they're not all like that. You know, I mean, I've got plenty of good mates that drive them, but yeah, it's a funny stereotype. It's like back in Sydney, back in the day, you're a fucking drug dealer if you drove a Ferrari. There's always tall poppy syndromes, and there's always idiots that are going to throw rocks. Yes, sadly, Lambo do attract it more. But again, that's never going to change, never change. And that'll always be that way. McLaren don't have that element to it. Lambo do.